anything that could be considered a rational thought.
See, I know the clip works when the woman or the guest in the green room laughs at that. It's because she does have rational thoughts today, of course. We're not going to have, but that was a funny clip from an Adam Sandler movie. Our guest today in the Author Your Brand show is a best-selling author. She's a worldwide leader in hypnotherapy, international speaker, life success coach, and renowned authority on the law of attraction. You all have heard about law of attraction. Now, she's dedicated her life to empowering people all over the world to successfully live a life of liberty that are aligned with their dreams through her effective meditative recordings and online courses. Meditative, I can say it really fast. Through her podcast, The Power of Your Mind, she exudes her passion for inspiring listeners with influential guests in the areas of self-development, mindset, discipline and habits, entrepreneurship, wealth, and relationships. So welcome to the show today, Victoria M. Gallagher. Victoria, how are you?
I am great. Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. We're looking for the holiday season here, although maybe watching us, maybe holidays are over by now. So I hope you had a good holiday.
Right.
Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus, whatever you're celebrating. So we got 25 minutes here today, Victoria. Why should people listen to us or you?
Well, because most people have a very poor mentality, and they love being in that state. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there.
So misery loves company, or the abundance mindset, right? We talk about that a lot. I mean, law of attraction, all that stuff. Oh yeah, just think about money and you'll get there. But there's always that small voice that's saying, you're a loser, you can't do it, right? I mean, am I right?
Absolutely.
There's always that.
Yeah. No, we've been
Okay.
programmed. We've been programmed pretty much since birth. About 90% of our mindset, 90% of our communication, 90% of our thoughts are negative. And so it's not your fault that you have this broke mentality, this poor mentality. You didn't really have much choice in what was going into the very depths of your subconscious mind when you were growing up, and you were hanging around all the big people in the house that were saying, oh, we don't have enough money, you can't afford it, and you're never going to amount to anything. All that stuff just goes straight into the subconscious.
Nasty stuff. We're going to get to why that is in a minute. I want to know more about your background. How did you get involved with this?
So first of all, I was always kind of into personal development pretty much since I was 18. I grew up in kind of a poor family myself, and also I was the kid that was made fun of in school and dressed weird, probably looked weird, whatever. Had these big thick glasses, patch over one eye, and so I was looking for a way to kind of get away from that pain. And when I was 18, my mother sent me this book called Total Self-Confidence. And it just totally opened up my awareness to what was available to me. And fast forward, about a decade after that, I found myself in a wonderful role as a stockbroker that I had worked very hard to achieve. I was doing that for about 6 years, had the corner office, had my own assistant, making 6 figures a year, married, everything. And then I just kind of wasn't feeling very fulfilled. And it's like I had everything I'd worked for, but I kind of realized that I was sort of walking through life blindly, and I didn't have any intention behind what I wanted to do. And so that led me to doing some really deep personal development seminars. During the seminars, we did a lot of meditations and closed eye work. And that was like what really, we closed our eyes to open my eyes. And, my eyes were open to realize, wow, this is what I want to do. I want to help other people to experience this bliss. And so I moved into hypnotherapy and created, all these amazing hypnosis recordings. And it was, just kind of like, just like an awakening.
So when it comes to the money mindset, I'm going to focus on that for a little bit. We get to the personal stuff too, of course. But when it comes to money mindset, obviously somebody's raised in poverty. That's all they know and
Mhm.
experience. It's probably logical they would also have that lack of abundance in their mindset. But what about people who are not born in poverty? Who if someone's middle class America and they still have to like watch every penny or think we can't afford things? Why? How does that affect them?
Yeah, so it affects them by, like they constantly are in a situation where they're trying to get ahead. They
Mhm.
try to get ahead. They read books about it. They talk to
Right.
people about it. But their subconscious limiting beliefs
Mhm.
are holding them back from that.
Mhm.
And until they deal with those, they're always going to be faced with sabotage. They're always going to like something's going to come along and cause them to kind of like, you're on this path to success. It's kind of like the person who goes on the diet at the beginning of the year and you end up staying on that diet for about 3 weeks. It's the same
Yep.
thing with your money mindset. You'll
Mhm.
start to get ahead, you'll start to pay off those bills, you'll start to and then just out of the blue, something will come up that holds you back, and this just is a cycle until you
Yep.
learn how to deal with those limiting beliefs, and those limiting
Right.
beliefs are, all of those ideas that were planted into your head since you were a child, but not even since then. I mean, even more so, since you've been
Mhm.
an adult, because you've
Mhm.
just continued to continue that cycle by telling yourself the same things. You're
Right.
constantly feeding yourself those suggestions. And why I
Mhm.
was alluding to earlier, it's like we love to commiserate with other people.
Mhm.
So other people will be having a hard time, and then it's almost like a competition. Oh, you think you're having a hard time? Let me
Yeah.
tell you how hard it's been for me. And we're like addicted to these negative beliefs that, and it's much, much easier. People love to complain. They just absolutely love to complain.
Why is that?
I mean, do you ever find it's comfortable, number 1, it's much more comfortable. We connect with other people through complaining. I mean, just imagine, like, somebody, is, having a conversation with you and they're complaining and say, "Yeah, last year this year has just been so hard. I mean, with the virus and
Right.
with the pandemic and with
Right.
the blah, blah, blah." And so we connect with people through just going ahead and continuing that conversation. It's like, yeah, I know it has been hard. It's been really hard for. And so instead of saying, well, like, what can we do? I mean, it would be like almost weird. It would be weird to just,
Wouldn't be
and it
weird
would
though. I
almost
don't.
like break the
Yeah.
rapport with that person to say,
Right.
"Hey, but what can we do about this? Let's brainstorm. Let's talk about ideas on how we can break through this." Like you're not going to be in rapport with that person. You're
Am I rude to say I don't want rapport with those people? I
you're
want to hang out with abundant people. Sorry.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so it takes something, it takes being a little bit out of the norm. It takes like actually wanting to catch yourself every time you
Yeah.
start to want to go down that rabbit hole and going
Mm,
down that thought process to
yeah.
actually break through and create new thoughts, new conversations, hang out with
Right.
new people that want to have these positive
Right.
abundant conversations.
So can we hypnotize people to hang out and only talk to people more successful than them versus the broke ass people, or how's it work in your world?
Yeah, no, you absolutely can. So, one of the how I help people to break out of this is by really sitting down and listing out what is it that you want? Like actually start to dream and get very specific on, what
Mhm.
is the desire in your life that do you want to start your own business? Do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to have your dream house? Do you want to, have enough money to travel the world? Like what
Mhm.
specifically is it that you want? Why do you want this abundance? Because, a lot of people are just very vague. It's like, oh, I'd like to live,
Yeah.
this life, but they don't really have a very dialed in, very specific idea. So now what we want to do is, we have this idea that we want to focus on. We want to find out, like, what is it that we have been thinking that's keeping us from having that desire. So when you're
Mhm.
thinking about that desire and you say, okay, I'm, on my way to having this, you want to actually start to listen to, like, what are some of the thoughts? What are some of the complaints? What are some of the reasons and the rationales why you say that you can't have that? And you
Mhm.
literally want to start to write those down. And then, ask yourself, like, okay, what do I need to be thinking? What do I want to be thinking instead? And,
Mhm.
and so you convert those negative ideas into positive ideas that you want to be thinking instead. The other
Mhm.
thing too is using visualization to actually see yourself in that place. And this is something that takes consistent daily
Mhm.
work. To do. When you think of something, when you imagine something and you imagine it to the point where you're getting a strong emotional reaction
Mhm.
from that, that's how
Yeah.
you know that you're visualizing strong enough. It does take some, discipline, and it takes some effort to, like, train the mind to, think about what
Mhm.
you want rather than what you don't want. Because, even someone who's been doing this for, several decades now, like myself. I mean,
Mhm.
I have negative thoughts, we all do.
Oh, yeah.
So
Mhm.
this is, it's like every day you got to work out the mind, you got to work out the
Right.
brain, you got to exercise it and, get it
Yeah.
geared
Right.
toward, thinking about what you do want rather than what you don't want.
Yeah. I think I have an answer to the question I'm asking for the audience here, but why can't we do that cognitively? Why do we have to use hypnosis to reframe and retrain our brains?
Well, because the conscious mind cognitively is
Mhm.
only about 10%. It's the weaker part of
Right.
your mind. It's strong, but it's still the weaker part of the mind. And it's no competitor to the subconscious mind, which is 90% of your mind.
Mhm.
And so that it's that part of the mind that's programmed to think this way. And so
Mhm.
until you go in and reprogram the mind through going into deep hypnosis on a regular
Mhm.
basis, those thoughts are always going to be coming up for you on autopilot. And so through hypnosis, you're going to be able to reach that deeper, more
Mhm.
powerful part of your mind. I mean, that part of your mind, the subconscious mind, that runs everything. I mean, that's running your heart rate, it's running your blood,
Yep.
it's running your brain, it's running everything. And so, and it's very, very powerful.
Mhm.
And so there's just no competition for that, doing, just kind of thinking affirmations. They just kind of go in one
Yeah.
ear out the other. They don't
Right.
actually
Yeah.
get down
Yeah.
to the storehouse.
All right. So I got a couple questions on that. So yeah, of course I mean, most people who understand the primitive brain, limbic brain, subconscious brain is the one that really runs the show here. Um, can anybody get into the hypnotic state, or do some people have a hard time with it?
It's a really good question. It's a really common question.
Mhm.
Everyone can get into
Mhm.
the subconscious, into the
Mhm.
hypnotic state. There are
Mhm.
some people who are easier to hypnotize than others,
Mhm.
and usually when we go into hypnosis, we do a little bit of suggestibility testing to
Mhm.
find out if this person needs a long drawn out session, or
Yeah.
if they're just they could just kind of go right into it. Those people like
Mhm.
that you've seen in stage shows, usually
Yeah. Right.
people those are usually people who are much easier to hypnotize. The people that are in the audience with their arms crossed, like, you
Right.
can't hypnotize me. They
Yeah.
can be hypnotized, but they just need a little bit more time. They need a little bit more understanding. A lot of
Yeah.
what prevents people from going into hypnosis is just a lack of understanding of
Mhm.
what it is and what to expect, or it's fear, or they have some kind of like, real analytical mind. They can't like shut their
Yeah.
mind off long enough to like actually listen to the
Right.
suggestions and focus on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody has the
Everybody
ability,
can.
capacity to go into hypnosis.
And tell me about the difference between having it being guided with someone like you versus self hypnosis, where I'm gonna, go into my own meditation and go down there myself. What's the differences, and how can people use either of those methods?
So we like to say there's an expression that all hypnosis is self
Oh,
hypnosis. So,
love it.
technically, it's kind of the same, except for, when you're with a person, there is a little bit of a transference that takes
Hmm.
place. So I'm able to really, you know I'm able to like feed off of your energy. I'm able to actually see what is happening with you. So like if you're not quite at the state that you need to be at
Yeah.
yet, I can help you to continue to go there. Whereas if, they're listening to a recording, which
Yeah.
is fine and good, it's on its own time schedule. So,
Yeah.
you're either following along or you're not. And with a
Yeah.
live hypnotist, we're able to kind of work, and I'm able to actually feed off of what you're how you're responding to the
Yeah.
suggestions.
I know the few times I've done live guided meditation versus on my own, massive difference. When I'm
Yeah.
in a room or there's someone there running the show, I'm in and I go into wherever we're gonna go. On my own, my monkey mind always takes over. I can't let go and just empty it. It's really tough for me, and without someone to help me live. Even the recording ones, I don't tune in as much. Do you do both live and over Zoom, or how do you work?
I do it always. Well, first of all, I don't do it like in person, but I do
Mhm.
it over Zoom. So I
Yeah.
I do it over Zoom, and then I have my huge library of all of my recordings. But even
Yeah.
over Zoom, it's kind of like we're in the same energy. I mean, I'm able to see and experience the person. I've been doing it over Zoom like since before there was Zoom.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I had for a while too, yeah, so we had for, Google Meet or whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. So give me a success story, Victoria, the most dramatic shift you've seen in someone.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I've had people, like start businesses,
Mhm.
like literally quit their job and start businesses.
Yeah,
I've had people, manifest their soulmates. I've
right, give
had
me give me one story, one story. You don't have to give the name, but, like, the actual story. Here they were. I want one good one here. Your first one comes to mind.
let's see here.
Make it a money one if you
I
want,
mean,
or
pardon me.
whatever you want. I'm
No,
looking for a individual story here, yes.
yeah. I mean, most of my stories just kind of they have to do with, taking somebody who wanted to, manifest like a dream, like starting a I mean, like right now my stories are just they're just blank. I'm just drawing a
No, I
blank at
I
the
need
moment.
an actual person. Think of your last best person you helped on one of your sessions. I don't read their name, but, like, there was John Jones, who was 42 years old, hated his job, making a good buck, but he needed to, get a better life, and he did this, and now he's running a $20 million company. I need an actual story, and you'll know why when the podcast comes out. You'll see why I want a story.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can make
Okay.
one up, but I want to hear what you've done with somebody.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I just need to draw back from
Go for it. It's
you
fine.
know
If I had commercial, I'd take a
drawback.
commercial break right now, but I don't have them.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to do a commercial break at the moment? And then
I
let me
could. I
just
don't want commercials. I could talk about myself for a minute while you're thinking.
yeah.
You could do
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
hold
would
on
be
a second.
great. That would be great.
While Victoria is going ahead and pulling from her deep reservoir of ideas and people, I can talk to you about what we do here at Author Your Brand. We're a publishing company. We help people actually create a book, a best-selling book, without them having to write a word. And we do this through a very unique combination of journalism, ghostwriting, and editing that helps a person get their story or their idea told in a much better manner than they could do on their own. It takes about 9 months. We've got a very defined process. And the biggest benefit to working with us is not just the book itself, but it's the marketing and positioning we do before, during, and after the book comes out. So if you're interested in getting a book done, you can go write yourself. You can contact us. And in fact, you can contact us regardless because we've got great resources for you if you can write yourself. If you need some help, I've got the best ghostwriters in the world to help you make you look and sound and read much better than you would on your own. So it's Doug Crow, Author Your Brand, authoryourbrand.com. And now back to our guest, Victoria Gallagher.
Okay. Hey, sorry about that. Okay, I just remembered. Okay, so I had this amazing coaching hypnosis client. She came to me, I want to say it was about 2 years ago, and she wanted to move to England to she was working like had a full-time career here that made her a lot of money. And a lot of times what happens is when somebody's making a lot of money, it's really hard for them to make that transition to doing something completely on their own. Well, that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to become a life coach, but she not only wanted to become a life coach, but she wanted to move to England. And so we made, like over 3 months, we worked together, through various different things, through custom recordings, through some life coaching, through some hypnosis. And, and so I kind of like let her go after we had worked together for a little while. Well, a few months later, I'm asking her if she wants to attend one of my seminars. And she's like, "Oh my God, I've been meaning to reach out to you." She's like, "I'm no longer living in the United States. I'm in England. I've started my coaching career. I am, like just indebted to you." And it was just like, it was just like such an like dream come true. And that's what I love helping people on that level. And she's doing it, and she's doing it abroad and making a living full time and quit her job. And it's amazing. Sorry, it took me a little bit to remember that
Yeah,
crazy
don't worry
story,
about it.
but
It's fine. I can tell your currency is the same as mine. You love helping others become successful, and it feeds your soul. So I love that, Victoria. It's a
it
beautiful thing.
does. It really
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
So tell us about your book. Since this is the Author Your Brand show, let's hear about your book.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so it's my book, Practical Law of Attraction. It's going on 4 years, as in number one in its category in hypnotherapy, since February of 2019 it came out. And I didn't ever think that I was going to write a book. Like everybody has like this sort of idea that maybe one day I'll write that book. And actually shortly before I broke ground on that book, one of my dear clients tells me, it's like, "You need to write a book." And I had been just doing all these Facebook lives and YouTube videos forever on law of attraction, manifesting. And then I was asked to do a 2-day workshop on law of attraction. And I wanted, it was like going to be a coaching curriculum. And I'm like, well, I don't even have anything like, I just talk about it. It's like I didn't have any step-by-step, process in my mind about that. Anything I really felt like. And so I'm like, this is time to go ahead and just write that
Mhm.
book. And
Nice.
so, I wrote this book. It's about the 8 manifesting conditions that all need to be in place in order
Mm.
for you to manifest what you want. Because a lot of
Mhm.
people, one of the reasons why I talk about this and why I wrote this book is because, after the movie The Secret came
Mhm.
out, I'm sure you're familiar with that book. If you know about the law of
Yeah.
attraction, a lot of people tried and failed at using The Secret because it's just, it's a fun, airy fairy movie
Mhm.
that opens your mind, to the possibilities of what you can manifest, but it doesn't really go in depth into what
Right.
you need to
Yeah.
do.
Mhm.
And so this really goes into depth. It is like once you've read the book, you will understand. It is a no-brainer that,
Mhm.
these are the things. It's the desire, the
Nice.
thoughts, the visualization, the beliefs, like we talked about, your vibration, pulling
Mhm.
ideas from creative attraction, taking action on it, and
Yeah.
then actually celebrating and having gratitude for your
Mhm.
manifestation. And so all of these aspects need to be in place. And for most people, maybe you have one or two that you're in alignment with. And so this helps you really to align with all the manifesting conditions to make your
Mhm.
dreams possible.
Nice. Can you summarize those 8 things for us? I know you mentioned 2 or 3 of them
So,
there. Well, yeah.
yeah. Okay. So it's the desire, and then
Mhm.
getting your thoughts into alignment, and
Mhm.
then it's your imagination using
Mhm.
visualization. Okay, and then there is the your beliefs. So you
Mhm.
need to have your beliefs in check, the
Right.
vibration, your emotions, the creative attraction. Creative attraction is more kind of like your intuition, pulling
Mhm.
from super conscious, taking inspired action.
Yeah.
And then, the inspired action is also like a lot of people they take action, but it's forced action. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I have to do this, I have to do that. And like, you don't have to do anything. And the inspired action really works very much in alignment with the creative attraction because the creative attraction is like your intuition telling you, guiding you what it is that you need
Mhm.
to do.
Mhm.
And then the eighth manifesting condition is it's called manifestation, and it's how you respond to the manifestations that you have.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
and it's also it's about taking ownership over what you are creating. So whether
Mhm.
it's positive or negative. So it's saying,
Right.
I am a creator. I create my reality. And
Mhm.
whether it's the reality that I wanted to create or the reality that I didn't want to create, it's how you
Mhm.
deal with that and celebrating and having gratitude and acknowledging what you've already manifested.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so where can people get this book? Amazon, I'm guessing. Is that or you want to get your
They
website
can
or
get it on
Amazon?
Amazon, yeah,
All right.
Amazon, Audible, yeah.
Okay. And the title is?
It's called Practical Law of Attraction.
Okay, so get that on Amazon. Practical Law of Attraction by Victoria Gallagher. Go get it now,
Yes.
folks, if you want to make your dreams come true, not have them just be dreams. And get that head trash out of
Exactly.
your head. Right? Yeah.
Ex
Victoria, it's great having you on the show. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate being here.
You bet. Okay, thanks a bunch. Appreciate it. And that concludes our show today at the Author Brand Show. You're going to want to take notes. I hope you did take notes. If you didn't, it's okay because below here, we got show notes for you. All you got to do is put your email address in there and we'll send you the actual notes for the show. And obviously, go to Amazon and get Victoria's book. That's what wraps up for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.